God's love, elevating, energizing, empowering. Miracles happen when you know that you are loved. Peter Youngren has communicated God's love with millions from every religion and culture. Get ready for your ultimate life because you are loved.
Welcome to Jesus Light of the World Week. Jesus said that He is the light of the world. Well, that must mean that the world is suffering from an acute problem of darkness. Remember what it said, that it was prophesied concerning Jesus that the people that walk in darkness shall see a great light, and that great light was Jesus Christ. Well, how are people in darkness? What kind of darkness are we talking about? We're certainly not talking about a physical darkness. No, the darkness referred to has to do with people's minds. Their minds were darkened. Concerning what? Concerning who God is. And what is the agent of darkening people's minds? Religion. Those people that walked in darkness, those people, what was the darkness? It was the darkness of religious performances that could never get them access to God. So when we say that Jesus is the light of the world, we're saying get to know Jesus yourself and then share Jesus with the world. And when we share who He is, because He shows us who God is, so all the grotesque misrepresentations of who God is, they vanish when we see Jesus Christ. And friends, that is what gives us the motivation and the love and the forcefulness in our hearts to say, let's take this to the whole world. We have a sign that appears sometimes 7 billion people. Is actually 7.4 billion people, one at a time. And every one of the world's 7.4 billion people have the human right to discover this light, to be illuminated, to see who God really is. And that is, you know, people say to me, is there no end to the different projects you are launching, Peter? How long will you keep going? I will keep going as long as I have breath. That is why we are reaching out in Pakistan. You know, in the world's largest Muslim city, in spite of terror attacks against our television channel, it's called Gawahi Television, which means Witness TV. We refer to it as Grace TV here. In spite of the terror attacks on that channel, we have kept going, and now we are reaching 49 surrounding nations in the Islamic world with the gospel 24/7. And we're not just on satellite, friends. I know that there could be many different organizations that broadcast on satellites. We have a license in Pakistan, 98% Muslim. We have a license by the government. So we're not just in a satellite that's kind of sending a signal up there in the heavenlies. A lot of people talk a lot about that, and I suppose that reaches a few people. We are right there so that people in Pakistan, in the world's largest Muslim city, they come home at night and they have a remote control and they turn on their television and our channel will be there. Why are we doing that? Because we want to illuminate their minds to see what God has done for them. That's why we're working in Israel. You know, the Way of Peace ministry, we're working in places like Netanya and Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and Bethlehem and Ramallah and even in Gaza, where there's such darkness in so many different ways, and in other areas of the country. We're working in 10 different locations. Why are we doing this? To illuminate people's minds. Jesus is the light of the world. We want people to see, have their eyes open to see who God really is and what God has done for us. Because people are under this yoke of bondage of trying to figure out, what must I do so that God will be pleased with me? They don't know that God has already done something for them in and through Jesus. So welcome to our Jesus Light of the World Week, where we're talking about this. We're reaching out in Africa. You can see pictures on the screen from our different Bible schools there. And the graduates are becoming missionaries, gospel workers in their own country. We're just launching a brand new World Impact Bible Institute in Mwanza, Tanzania, a country that is half Muslim, half Christian. Why are we doing this? What keeps us running with this vision? Why are we reaching out in our own country? It's all because of this light, this illumination that has hit our hearts. That Jesus is the answer. It's not a slogan, it's reality. Jesus shows us who God is. We're reaching out to new countries. A little bit later on, I'm going to show you what we're doing just coming up in the Buddhist nation of Burma. We're reaching Muslims, we're reaching Buddhists, we're reaching Hindus. We just launched a new initiative where we call it the 1 Million Initiative, where we want to put 1 million copies of this book, or we want to rather put 1 copy of this book into the hand of 1 million Muslim friends right here in Canada, United States, in the Western world, and around the world. 1 million a year. That alone is $1 million project. Why are we doing that? You say, well, why are you doing all these things? Because of this light that has hit our hearts. We see God is so awesome. God is revealed in Jesus. We're sharing it with the world. And to Jesus, this is very important. This was crucial to Jesus. Will you help us right now with these different things this week? I'm believing God for $1 million to be released. That 1 million people may know Jesus Christ. Oh, I tell you, many churches, it's sad. They don't even have a missions program. They don't know what a missions program is. All they do is talk about themselves. The great Oswald J. Smith, who is the founder of the People's Church in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, one of my all-time heroes. I read every book that he ever published. I heard him preach in person. Now, he's been passed away many, many years ago. He said, why should anyone hear the gospel twice before everyone has heard it once? It doesn't mean that he didn't want people to hear the gospel 2, 3, 4, 500, 600 times, 1,000 times. That's not the point. But his point was that there are billions of people who have never heard the gospel even once. That's why I'm saying to you, we need your help today. We believe $1 million for the gospel. Will you help us? You know, Jesus made this so clear to his disciples, and they ran with the vision, but one of the ones who really ran with the vision was Paul the Apostle. I want to just start reading a little bit from Romans chapter 15, where you get the heartbeat of the Apostle Paul, how he felt about the world. He says like this, I will not dare to speak of any of those things which Christ has not accomplished through me in word and deed to make the Gentiles obedient. Did you see what it said right there? Word and deed. That's how we work. We work, we preach Jesus Christ, who is the Word of God. And we preach from the written Bible. We preach from the Word, the written Word. But there's more than that. There is word and deed. You see, it's not enough just to preach it. When we preach this and when we share this, we do it, and then we say, now, let's have some action. Let's have some deeds. Let's ask Jesus to come and heal people, you know. All those things, and they're probably showing some on the screen right now while I'm talking about it, among Muslims and Buddhists and Hindus. All these people, why should they believe when we're sharing Christ with them? Why should they say yes when we give the invitation to receive Christ? Why should they? They have their own religion, they have their own philosophy, but when they see healings, when they see miracles, when they see wonders of God, they see blind eyes open, they see deaf ears open, they see people who couldn't walk and they're walking and running, and they hear the stories, and then they listen and they say, oh, there must be something to this. So Paul says here, Christ has accomplished something through me in word and deed. That's what we're doing when we go to the Buddhist world. That's what we're doing when we go to Burma in just a few days' time. We're going to be there. But we need your help with this. We're going there to share the Word, Jesus Christ, the written Word, the Bible, and to see miracles done. Look what it says here. Then he says like this. He says, in mighty signs and wonders by the power of the Spirit of God. See, that's how the gospel is preached, in mighty signs and wonders. We expecting that. That's how God gave us a breakthrough, so we got our television channel over in Pakistan. It was because mighty signs and wonders happened in that city, the world's largest Muslim city. And when the people saw those wonders, when they saw those miracles, then they believed, and it opened doors, and it gave the opportunity for a license to broadcast 24/7. So that's how God works, in mighty signs and wonders. And then he says, I've done it from Jerusalem, and he mentions the places he has preached. He says, I fully preach the gospel of Christ. That means we fully preach the good news of Jesus Christ. We need your help. Will you help us in this campaign, Jesus, Light of the World Week? We need your help. Here's what's happening in Burma.
Myanmar, with a population of 55 million, is made up of over 100 ethnic groups. To many, the country is still known as Burma, named after the largest people group, the Bamar people. From 1962 until 2011, this Buddhist nation was ruled by a military junta. Since the installation of a civilian government, there's been an easing of restrictions. After the release of Aung San Suu Kyi, who spent many years as a political prisoner, this country's human rights record has improved, and this has led to new opportunities, including the opportunity to share the gospel. Peter Youngren and World Impact Ministries have a track record of sharing God's love through Jesus with people of non-Christian religions, including Buddhists. The gospel festivals in Mongolia and Thailand a few years ago were trailblazing, as Christ proved himself alive with many wonders among these Buddhist people. Now the opportunity has come for a gospel festival and pastor's seminar in Burma's largest city, Yangon, with more than 5 million people. World Impact Ministries representatives have visited the country several times, and now everything is ready. The Greek word kairos means the opportune time, and now is the opportune time for Burma. Peter Youngren stated, "We believe that this will be but the first of many gospel festivals to make the name of Jesus known among all the people groups in Burma." This historical gospel outreach will only be possible through the love and prayers and financial gifts of God's people, who believe it is of supreme importance that we take the gospel to every person, regardless of their religion. You are needed. Thank you. Please call now 1-877-974-7223 to participate in this historical outreach, or give online at peteryoungren.org.
Thank you so much. Please go to your telephone right now and have your card, whatever card you use, MasterCard or Visa, please have it ready. I'm going to put a 2-minute clock on the screen right there. Thank you so very much. These 2 minutes right now, before I start reading this scripture again, will you make a decision right now? We don't have going on hour after hour talking about it. I show as much as I can in this compact, short moment of time span that we have together. We are doing historical things around the world, whether it's the upcoming Burma campaign, and I have some facts here, about Burma. 152 people groups, 49 people groups in Burma that basically have no gospel witness. 6 decades of military oppression and dictatorship that has really limited the freedom. The largest group of people, the Bamar people, the number of believers in Jesus is not 1 in 100, is not 1 in 1,000. It is 7 for every 10,000. Let's face it, that means that the amount of believers is almost negligent. It's almost nothing. We're going there. Why? Because Jesus said, open their eyes. Every creature, everyone must hear the gospel. And that's what the Apostle Paul is talking about. And I'm going to read that in a moment, but we got just maybe a few seconds left on that clock. That 2-minute clock that started ticking just a little while ago. I said, would you go to your telephone now? Please, the workers are standing by to receive your call. We need your help right now. to do what Jesus asked every believer to be involved with. Look at here what the apostle says right here in Romans 15. He says, "And so I have made it my aim to preach the gospel, not where Christ was named, lest I should build on another person's foundation, but as it is written, to whom he was not announced, they shall see. And those who have not heard, they shall understand." He says, this is my aim. This is my aim. This is my goal in life. I want that those who have never heard, they would understand. They who have never seen, their eyes would be open. You know, so much of Christianity is all about me. Me. God bless me. God give me a breakthrough. God, I want to find a church that ministers to me. I want to have the kind of music that I enjoy. But everything about Jesus, friends, when we look at this on balance, everything about Jesus was others. Others. He says in Matthew, says, "Go and teach all nations." He says in Mark, "Go and tell every creature about this." He says in Luke, he says, it was necessary for the Messiah to suffer and die so that people could have a change of mind and they could hear the news that their sins had been put away. And then Jesus says in John, he says, you know, "As the Father sent me, so send I you." He said, go in this power. And then the book of Acts, it starts by saying, "You shall receive power after the Holy Spirit has come upon you to be witnesses to me." And then he mentions Jerusalem and Judea and the ends of the earth. Everywhere. See, this is God's plan, and so little, so precious little, a minute part of 1% of all the money that is used in Christian ministry goes to reach to 3 billion people that have never heard the gospel. That's why I call this Jesus, the light of the world, weak. We believe in God for $1 million to help us reach, or not just to reach, but to see 1 million persons come to Christ, especially from these people groups that have no gospel witness. See, that was the Apostle Paul's aim. Look at it. I'm going to read again what he says here. "For this reason, I've been much hindered from coming to you. But now, no longer having place in these parts and having a great desire these many years to come to you, whenever I journey to Spain, I shall come to you, for I hope to see you on my journey and to be helped on my way there by you, if I might first enjoy your company for a while." You know, this tells us volumes about the attitude of the Apostle Paul. He says, this is why I couldn't come to you. In other words, he says, I have priorities. I have priorities. Because you see, who's he talking to? The Romans. Rome was the city. I mean, it was the capital of the world. If you wanted to go on holiday, you would go to Rome. It would be like New York City, Los Angeles, Orlando with Disney World, and Las Vegas all thrown into one, and Washington, D.C., and Ottawa, and Toronto. All those cities thrown into one city. Rome was the place to be. So, you know, Paul had received invitations to Rome. They said, "Come and visit us in Rome. You need to come to Rome. I mean, this is the place to be. You can meet some of the political movers and shakers." He says, "I couldn't come." He said, "I couldn't come." Well, Paul, why wouldn't you go there? Priorities. Well, what priorities is it? The gospel. He says, "I have made it my aim to preach Christ where Christ is not known." My friend, that's why we have Jesus is the light of the world week. That's what this whole ministry called World Impact Ministries, what is this all about? We're not looking for programs. We're not looking to create some new project. Why are we publishing books like this from Muslim friends? Hope from Isa al-Masih. I have here with me, this is the version we use in Pakistan, in the Urdu language. You can see it right here. Why are we publishing this? Why are we saying we need 1 million of this book into the hands of Muslim friends? Why are we broadcasting 24/7 in Karachi, a city of 22 million people, the largest Muslim city in the world? Simply put, there are more Muslim friends living in Karachi than in any other city in the entire world. And we have a television channel 24/7 there, not just in the satellite, local television channel. And then that local channel broadcasts to 49 nations. Why? Why are we running Bible schools? Why, in spite of terror attacks like we had on our channel in Pakistan, why do we keep going? Because we have a priority. Jesus said, this gospel must first be published. The Apostle Paul says, this is my aim. This is my aim. This is why I do what I do. Some people say, Peter, we don't understand you. Why are you doing what you're doing? You're acting like the whole world's salvation depended on all the projects you're doing. Well, we don't believe that. We thank God for everybody that is doing something for the gospel. But I've come to realize that I'm not going to live a life where I'm going to say, well, somebody else is doing it, and maybe they'll do something. And I'm going to say, I'm going to give it everything I have because Jesus is worth it. That's what Paul said here. I made it my aim, so I couldn't even come to you in Rome. But then he says, I'm going to come now. When I'm on my way to Spain, he said, I'm going to come. I'll make a little stop, and I'm going to be a little bit, receive a little something from you. I think he was expecting to receive an offering from him because, you know, the gospel isn't free. Don't talk to me about, oh, preachers shouldn't ask for money. I agree. Most preachers should shut up about money because they just use it for themselves. I'm sick and tired of it. But don't tell this preacher to not talk about money. We are spending money in the part of the world among the 3 billion people that have never heard the gospel. So I am unashamed. I need your money. If you got money you don't know what to do with, send it to me. We're going to put that money into usefulness for the gospel. We're going to print more of this book for people to give to our Muslim friends. We need right now for Burma, we need to print 100,000 books, copies in the Burmese language of this book, Salvation, God's Gift to You. Because, and we need to print materials for the pastors we are training. We're working on all these frontiers, reaching out to those who have never heard, training pastors, media. My friend, this is a vision from God. Just let me, please watch this video that gives a little bit of a capsule of what this is all about and why I need you to be involved. Watch this.
59 nations, 300 gospel festivals and counting, 345,000 leaders trained, 16 million new believers have received follow-up.
I'm not going to lift up one religion above the other. I have only come for one purpose, to lift up Jesus.
Jesus revealed to the people of all religions, Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, Shintoists, and Christians. See for themselves that Jesus is risen from the dead. This gospel advancement is succeeding in places that many consider impossible. And still, it is happening because God makes a way where there is no way. And because partners who have received love from God become generous givers, become a partner today. Call 1-877-974-7223 or give online at peteryoungren.org/give. You are urgently needed. Thank you in Jesus' name.
Did you see that caption on the video? Jesus revealed to people of all religions. And I tell you, I would expand that to say Jesus revealed to all people, religion or no religion. That's the whole point of what we're doing. Jesus said to the Apostle Paul, before he was an apostle, while he was Saul of Tarsus, while he was just a person full of murder, he was a terrorist, really. That's what Paul, the apostle, was before he became the apostle, a terrorist. And Jesus said to him, I have come to you. You have encountered me because I want you to open people's eyes. That's what this whole ministry is about. Jesus, light of the world week. We want to open people's eyes. Our Muslim friends, our Buddhist friends, we don't think we're better than anybody else. We don't think we're smarter than anybody else. We're not mad at anybody else for their religion, but we are saying Oh, that people's eyes could be opened so they would see who God really is. And how does that happen? When we see Jesus, we see God. And then secondly, oh, that people's eyes could be opened so they could see the riches of what we have, what God has done for us. Millions, in fact, billions, with almost 7.5 billion people in the world, 7.4 billion maybe, almost 3 billion people really have little or no access to the gospel. I wish there were hundreds of ministries on television that would be talking to you every week about those who have never heard the gospel. But we're so busy reaching the church people and talking to church people, how they need more blessing, how they need more, and how they're missing out on something or whatever. We're so busy to evangelize those already evangelized that there's hardly any strength left, no money left, and no effort left for the 3 billion who have never heard. Again, we're going to reach the Bamar people. That's my goal in Burma. That's what we've been doing in country after country. I need your help. Would you sow whatever seed gift you can? Would you become a monthly partner with us? And tomorrow on our telecast, I know there'll be a response. I will be reporting to you tomorrow how people have responded. I'm down to the last minute. Put that 1 minute clock up right now, Mr. Producer. Thank you. And we are counting down. If you don't make a decision, now you may not get through with your phone call in this minute. I understand that you may have to call several times to get through, or you may have to use the internet. It's a very safe and secure way to give. But would you right now respond? Would your heart be touched now? Jesus thought this was important. In every one of his Gospels, one of the last things Jesus talked about was to give his good news to everyone. And still people are living and they die and they never know anything. And we are in our churches singing and praising and enjoying sermons. This wasn't God's plan. God is not a discriminator. He wants everyone to know that they don't have to live in a bondage of religious fear and fear of darkness and fear of their own inability to do what they think that they should do, but to be free in Jesus. Help us to do it. We got, I guess, 5-6 seconds left on that clock right now. Please go to your telephone. Keep calling till you get through. Let's give Jesus to the world because he loves us so much. God bless you.
Thank you. Your partnership makes this ministry possible. To share your prayer request or to help bring the good news of Jesus Christ to thousands who have never heard, call 1-877-974-7223. You can give at www.peteryoungren.org or send your gift to World Impact Ministries at P.O. Box 2108, Vista, California 92085, 2108. Or 190 Railside Road, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, M3A 1A3. Together, let's give everyone a chance to hear the gospel.